Herschel Greenbaum lives in Eastern Europe in a small town called Schlupsk. He makes a living by digging ditches. One day, Herschel meets Sarah at the market and instantly falls in love with her. She is poor and can't afford proper food. To impress her, Herschel works twice as hard and uses the money he earns to buy her smoked fish. They begin dating and spend a lot of time together. Sarah shares her dreams with Herschel, saying she wants to become rich. Herschel dreams of one day trying sparkling water. They realize they love each other and decide to marry. Right after their wedding, bloodthirsty Cossacks attack the town and burn down all the houses. However, the Greenbaums do not give up. They sail to the United States to start a new life. Herschel gets a job at a pickle factory. His job is to kill rats with a special club. Despite his hard work, he still can't afford sparkling water. However, another joyful event happens in their life. Sarah becomes pregnant. Shortly before the baby is born, Herschel promises her that the Greenbaums will achieve greatness. Then, he goes to work, where the rats revolt. They chase Herschel onto a platform, and he falls into a vat of brine. The factory workers don't notice this. They seal the vat and leave. The foreman informs them that the factory is shutting down. Thus, Herschel remains preserved in the brine for 100 years until some teenagers accidentally open the vat. Herschel is declared a medical miracle. Scientists inform him that all his family members have died, except for one descendant, Ben. They contact Ben, who takes Herschel in. Herschel is amazed by how well his great-grandson lives. Ben even has a soda maker. However, Ben is not a doctor or a lawyer. He is a freelancer who developed an app that rates how ethical a company's products are. The app is called Boop Bop. Herschel asks Ben to show him photos of his parents and Ben's son, only to find out they've passed away. The next day, Herschel takes Ben to a cemetery where he purchased a family plot 100 years ago. The area is neglected and now belongs to someone else, with a billboard towering over the graves. While Herschel prays over Sarah's grave, Ben scrolls through his phone. Although he is Jewish, Ben is not very religious and doesn't know the words of the prayer. Workers arrive to replace the advertisement on the billboard. Seeing the new vodka ad, Herschel assumes it was commissioned by his archenemies, the Cossacks. He tries to stop the workers, but they refuse, so he has to use force reluctantly. Ben joins the fight, and both end up in jail. They are released after posting bail. At home, Herschel insists that Ben buy back the plot and remove the billboard. The tree that once stood there was cut down because of it. However, Ben doesn't have enough money. Herschel demands that Ben finally approach investors with his app so they can get the money. Ben contacts an investor acquaintance who agrees to meet him. However, during the meeting, the investor refuses to fund the app because of Ben's recent arrest. He insists that the app's creator must have a clean reputation. Returning home, Ben lashes out at Herschel, blaming him for the arrest. Herschel fires back, and the two Greenbaums have a heated argument. Herschel vows to earn money on his own and leaves. He decides to create a pickling empire by brining and selling cucumbers. He goes to a store to buy cucumbers, but finds it too expensive. Instead, he rummages through a dumpster, finding salt, cucumbers, and dirty jars. He prepares the cucumbers for pickling and waits for rain. After a heavy downpour, the jars are filled with water. The pickles are ready to sell. Two modern-day hipsters notice Herschel with his jars. They are passionate about eco-friendly products and eagerly buy his handmade pickles. Moreover, they are intrigued by Herschel's unique style and behavior. They post a video of him on social media, and it garners over 1 million views. Meanwhile, Ben is struggling to earn anything from his app. At a bar, he sees people watching the viral video of Herschel and learns that his great-grandfather's pickles are very popular. In an interview, Ben discovers that Herschel uses rainwater for his pickles, which is unhygienic. Out of jealousy, Ben reports the street vendor's violations to the health department. After an inspection, Herschel is fined heavily. Devastated, Herschel realizes he can't grow his business alone. However, his first customers suggest hiring interns who are willing to work for free. Herschel takes their advice. Students and other young people help him comply with sanitary standards in production. With their help, business booms. Ben, meanwhile, refines his app and approaches investors again, only to be rejected. They claim to have a more promising project, Herschel's pickle business. By now, Herschel has made enough money to buy back the cemetery plot and remove the billboard. But he can't shake his guilt over his fight with Ben, so he visits him to share the good news. At that moment, Ben is watching a video of his parents giving him a check, an initial investment for his future company. As a joke, they ask him to name it after them, Mom and Dad. When Herschel arrives, another argument ensues. This time, Ben plots to sabotage his ancestor. He advises Herschel to start posting on Twitter, expecting society to turn against Herschel's outdated and politically incorrect views. That's exactly what happens. Herschel asks his assistant to post a few tweets, and by morning, an enraged crowd of Americans gathers outside his home. The uproar draws media attention, and Herschel is invited to a television interview. The hosts twist his words, unintentionally giving him social and political clout. Watching all this, Ben realizes his scheme has backfired. Herschel is even invited to participate in a debate with a public figure. The debate is brief. The host takes questions from the audience, and Herschel responds confidently until Ben, disguising his voice and sitting far from the stage, asks a provocative question about Christianity in schools. As a Jew, Herschel responds negatively, angering the audience. They drive him off the stage. As a result, the authorities decide to deport Herschel back to Slupsk. Herschel hides for a while but eventually goes to Ben, asking him to accompany him to the Canadian border. Herschel plans to move to Canada instead of returning to Slupsk. Ben agrees and takes him to the forest near the border. He considers abandoning his ancestor there, but changes his mind. At night, Herschel keeps Ben warm, and in the morning, they head toward the road. A border patrol vehicle appears, forcing them to hide. While they're evading the patrol, Ben begins to feel sympathy for his ancestor and confesses everything. He admits that he called the health inspectors, asked the provocative question during the debate, and intentionally encouraged Herschel to post on Twitter to provoke outrage. Enraged, Herschel starts beating his great-grandson. The noise attracts the border patrol officers, so Herschel grabs Ben's backpack and runs off. Inside the backpack, Herschel finds a razor and shaves off his beard. He changes into Ben's clothes and impersonates him, turning Ben over to the border patrol as Herschel Greenbaum. Ben is arrested, tried, and deported to Slupsk. Herschel, meanwhile, moves into Ben's apartment. There, he finds a childhood drawing by Ben that depicts his parents, labeled Mom and Dad. Herschel realizes that his descendant hasn't forgotten about his family. On the contrary, Ben has worked hard to bring honor to the Greenbaum name, even naming his app after his parents. Back in Slupsk, Ben struggles to adjust. Cold and miserable, he seeks refuge in the local synagogue, where a group of Jews is about to recite a prayer for the deceased. They need one more person to complete the quorum. Ben admits he doesn't know the words to the prayer, but they accept him into their circle anyway. After the prayer, as the group disperses, Ben spots Herschel entering the synagogue. Herschel has come to bring Ben back to the United States. Before leaving, he takes Ben to a place he used to frequent with Sarah. There, they come up with a new family business idea. Herschel will apologize publicly to the American people to regain their trust, and then he will restart his pickle business. This time, they plan to expand their offerings, pickling not just cucumbers, but also watermelons and even fruits. Once back in the United States, they visit the cemetery to pay their respects to their ancestors. At Sarah's grave, Herschel plants a new tree. As he begins reciting a prayer, Ben joins him this time. They live together from then on, spending evenings watching Barbra Streisand movies. That's all for today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like more videos like this. Thanks for watching.